Hi everyone, welcome to the Piano Keys. I'm so glad that you're here. This is my fourth practice time of Chopin's Fantaisie Impromptu. Remember that practice time videos are different from my tutorials. In practice time, I just practice a part of a very advanced piece, and I tell you out loud what I'm practicing, what techniques I'm using, and why. So in this one, I focus on a section. I'll tell you the measures when I start showing you what I'm doing. I show you different ways to practice, and I actually don't even put the hands together. So it's a great peeking over the shoulder kind of video where you can see different ways of approaching a piece. Check below this video for links to all kinds of really cool tutorials and courses. I'm always developing new content to help you reach your goals faster. Or you can check my website, thepianokeys.com. Find me on Facebook, The Piano Keys, and on Instagram, The Piano Keys TPK. On Facebook, I also have a private group where we share videos with one another and we support each other. People ask me questions about practicing or about learning to play the piano, and I answer them. So go ahead and ask to join that group. It's called Piano Practice Tips. If you're ready to watch my fourth practice time on Fantaisie Impromptu, then keep watching. I'm going to play from measure 21 through the first beat of measure 37, left hand, and I'm going to do it without the metronome just to see what I'm working with. Alright, so right off the bat I can see that this is a pattern that repeats twice, but the second time, instead of playing this on measure 22 last beat, it's this. And on measure 24, I've got two notes that are different. So, other than that, everything else is a repeat. And then, now I know that the left hand is playing what it did in the beginning, so I've already practiced this. It's good to know that you've practiced something, because then you can just tell your hand, hey, you already know this, let's do it. Alright, now I'm going to repeat again this, but I can see up ahead that we're doing something different that I haven't done before. So Chopin is extending his idea here. Yep, on next page, and it's just a G sharp octave. Alright, so there's nothing really challenging happening here. So what I'm going to do is practice a bigger section than I normally would, just because there's so many repeats of things I've already known or learned, and just things repeating. So I don't need to break it down in really small sections. So I'm going to take it at, let's see. Let me see what 70 sounds like. I'll take it a little slower than that. How about 60 beats per minute? And that's going to be my quarter note. So I'm going to play 3 notes for each click. I think I waited too long there. And then I go down to a G sharp. So rather than just get faster with the metronome, like I've already shown you before, I'm going to show you a different way to practice. So instead of playing one note at a time like this, I'm going to chunk it into 3-note groups. So I'll take the first 3 notes and I'll play them, then the next 3. So what I'm doing is showing my hand the shapes of what I'm going to play. This one's hard. So this one, because I can't reach, I'm just going to do 1 and then 2. I'll do the same here. 1 and then 2. Same here. I won't be able to reach. Here I can reach. So do you see what I'm doing? I'm playing the notes, but I'm playing them all as groups together instead of one at a time. Same here, I can't reach. Make sure you're keeping your wrist as relaxed as possible when you're stretching your hand like this, because you don't want to have more tension than you need. And then we've got this guy. And this one, so see how I'm really stretching for these notes? I'm coming to the very edges of the keys right here, because if I try to go above, I can't reach, and I don't want to roll it. I want to play it like that. So I have to kind of hang on for dear life, and then I go down to my G sharp octave. All right, so that's one way to practice. Another thing you can do is to play dotted rhythms like this. So in this way, you're practicing playing fast, but also have breaks to think ahead. So it's like fake fast, which is a really good way to practice, actually. I make all my students do it. I do it too. I was really lucky. I had some really great teachers growing up. I had a few duds, but from there I learned how not to teach. But most of my teachers were excellent, and they all gave me something that I could use as a musician, as a human being, and as a teacher. Get my G sharp in there. Now I can also do the dotted rhythm reverse. So I was doing long, short, long, short. I can do short, long, short, long. This one tends to mess people up more. I'm not sure why, but it's just reversing. So it's short, long, like this. All right, and then you can also do groups of threes like this. And you can also do groups of 6. So you see I'm practicing fast, but I have a break, so I can recover from it. Make sure you relax in between each outburst. All right, now that was at 60 beats per minute, and I practiced a bunch of different ways. I'm gonna jump to, let's say 80 beats per minute and just play it normally the way it's written. And let's just see how that feels. That feels really slow. Because of all the ways that I practiced much faster than this. But now I don't have time to stop and think in between groups. So I have to constantly think forward and look forward. Okay, so normally I would say don't go from 60 beats per minute all the way to 80 beats per minute. I felt like I could do it, and it turned out to be good because, as you noticed, I didn't make any mistakes, meaning I aimed at the notes that I wanted and I played them well. So if you did that, if you jumped from 60, let's say, to 80, and you noticed that you were missing a lot of notes or stopping to think, then clearly you went too fast too soon. So maybe try, going up 10 beats per minute instead of 20, the way that I did. All right, so that's the left hand. Now I'm going to play through the right hand like I did before with the left hand. Let me turn that off. And by the way, if you haven't watched my metronome video yet, you should. It'll show you lots of ways to use the metronome and tell you why you should. It's the best practice tool that you've got, and it's absolutely free. You can get an app on your phone or on whatever, on your desktop, whatever. So definitely check out that video. Also check out the video for my secret practice technique that everyone who's tried it is like, oh my gosh, how did I not know about this before? So I'll link those here. You can check those out too. All right, so I'm going to play through the right hand and see what I'm working with. So here, it's just the same as the left hand did. It's the same thing twice, but the very last thing is different. Okay, great. Now I'm on measure 25, and I know this is just like the beginning. So it's got all kinds of fingering here that I'm not using. Moving my tablet aside because it's in my way. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be using that fingering, but anyway, let's see. I'm going to start at measure 33 and just finish this section, see what else I've got here. All right, let me see about this fingering. So I'm going to take a look at measure 31. So it's telling me to use fourth finger. My book is saying use fourth finger here. I'm thinking of using third finger. It's also telling me to do that. I don't know if I want to do that because I'm thinking about aiming at that C sharp when I'm going fast. I don't like it. I don't like that fingering. Somebody was asking me how, I think the person said I figured out a fingering and it worked when I was playing slowly, but then when I went fast, it didn't work. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Then you just have to go back and figure out what didn't work about it when you went fast and see how you can change it. So just because you learned a fingering doesn't mean you're stuck with it. You can definitely change. So we set in place our muscle memory, but then we can, put a new muscle memory over it. Okay, so it's not a disaster if your fingering doesn't work for you when you go fast. So let me see. I'm on measure 31 again. I think the first one I can use fourth finger, but definitely not on the G sharp. It's telling me to do fourth finger here. That makes no sense to me because I have to maybe, for somebody else's hand it would work, but for me, no. Somebody just commented on a video. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out if this fingering is going to work for me when I go fast. So I'm specifically looking at measure 30, 31, 32. It's asking me to use, when I say it, I mean the book, is asking me to use fourth finger on places that I'm normally wanting to use third finger. So who knows? All right, so I'm not going to practice that right hand. You can do it in the same way that I did the left hand. You can do the dotted rhythms. Let's see. That way. You can do the reverse. Oh, sorry. You can do it that way. You can also do those groups. Sounds a little like a salsa song there. You can do that. You can do groups of 4. Okay, and then you can do all that with the metronome. Since I'm low on time, I'm not going to do all that, but those are different ways you can practice. I'm actually going to practice it with the metronome at 80. Normal way. I'm not using any of those fourth fingers. No, that one I did. And here we have just a chromatic scale. So, I'm talking, not paying attention. So it's asking me to use first finger here. I think it's to prepare for that leap, but let's see. I'm perfectly fine with using third finger here and just leaping that way. When you leap, make sure that it's your wrist that goes first. Don't let your fingers lead the way. It's your wrist, okay? And then another chromatic scale. I need to pay attention. I'm talking. Okay, so I'm at measure 35. It's a chromatic scale up until we get to the E. So chromatic scale basically means you're using every single key. Okay? Yeah, so don't be afraid to change fingering. It's perfectly fine. You're not stuck with a fingering, and if you practice a certain fingering and then as you're playing another fingering feels more natural to you, you can do that. I'm not really going to put the hands together because I'm running out of space to record. So I want to make sure that I get this to you. All right, there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned a thing or two, or three, or four. Let me know if you have any questions or requests for future tutorials or practice time videos. My request list is quite long, so I can't guarantee that I'm going to make your requested tutorial at any particular time, but I will do my best. Keep practicing, have fun, and I will see you soon. Bye!